Hello instructors. This is a brief video on Unit 1 place value in whole numbers. So this is the media lesson packet which comes with the workbook. If you're teaching an in-person class, it's likely that you won't have the students do this media lesson by watching videos and doing this at home, although you are more than welcome to. But it gives us a good overview of the unit, so I wanted to use this kind of as our reference for when we go over the main ideas. So we're going to talk about the main ideas in this section, some things that we want to make sure they understand, and I'm going to show you a few things with manipulatives. So I'm going to break this into a few videos so they're short, and you can look at them in pieces if you want. So first, it's broken into sections. This unit is broken into 10 sections, and the sections are very short. In this video, we'll look at 1.1 and 1.2. So 1.1 is using base blocks to represent whole numbers. So this is strongly connected to place value. And here's the idea. A unit represents a number 1. So there's a unit, one little cube. A rod represents 10, and a flat represents 100. And some ideas that we want to get across to them is a rod is 10 copies of a unit. And so this is 1 10 unit is equal to 10 1 units. And I know that's kind of a mouthful, but that's something to think about, because when we write, say, a 3 in the tens place, 3 doesn't mean 3 1s, it means 3 10s. And that's one of the ideas we're trying to get across to them. If you have them use base blocks in class, which is a great idea, we have both base blocks and we have ink pads where they could make little impressions of their own base blocks. If you want them to write things on paper, we'll use a little square for a flat, a line for a rod, and an X for a unit. I've seen students try to draw these and I hurt for them. So first you'll have them use base blocks to represent numbers, and I would basically just give them the base blocks, have them figure out what numbers these represent, and have them figure this out on their own. This isn't something you should need to show them. I think they can figure this out, and of course you can check up with them after people in the class work on it. So here's an idea. Here's 4. Okay, so if you have a computer classroom, this is a great site. It's NLVM site. We're going to have our own site like this. This is a great site to work on, but it's Java based, so even when we have it working on our campus computers, getting a student to start it is kind of a pain. If you're interested in that, I'll show you how. You basically have to hit a bunch of buttons that say ignore, do this anyway, and they typically get confused. So notice this is the number 43. It's 4 10 units and 1 3 1 units. Okay. Another nice thing that we're going to see in the next section, but I'll just show you here. If you click and drag this rod into the units place, it decomposes into 10 1 units. Okay, so this is what we mean by decomposing, breaking something up into smaller pieces. And you can see we're going to use that for subtraction, because if you need to borrow, you'll probably decompose. And then with addition, we'll use the idea of regrouping. So if they call this lassoing these 10, notice it turns into a rod, and I can carry it over to the next place value. Okay. So first, just have them acclimate themselves to representing these with base blocks. Okay. And then here's section 1.2, which is decomposing and regrouping. So there's some definitions here. We just looked at that. Okay, so they have a given quantity, have them represent it, and then they can make any decomposition they want. So they have 312, they could break one of the hundreds or more than one of the hundreds into 10 tens. Okay, and then we want them to connect these ideas to the sum of the flats, rods, and units, and a flat being 100, tens, and ones. So this is really getting us ready for expanded form, and also helping them realize that 312 really means 3 hundreds, combined with 110 combined with 2 1s. So that's the gist for 1.2. Here they're given something where one of the groups has more than 10, so they'll need to regroup to get the final result. Okay. In the next video, we'll look at place value form and extended value form.